If you are a green card holder who travels internationally, if you have family members abroad that you visit regularly, or if you are planning any trip outside the United States in the coming months, then the announcement I am about to share with you is the most critical immigration update you will hear this year. The Department of Homeland Security has officially confirmed a major rule change that will fundamentally alter how green card holders are treated when they try to re-enter the United States starting in 2026. This is not a rumor. This is not speculation from social media. This is a verified, confirmed policy change that could result in you being stopped at the border, questioned for hours, and in some cases denied entry to the country you call home. My name is James. I have been a senior U.S. immigration professional for 6 years, and through policy and pathways, I have made it my mission to warn you before these changes affect your life. Stay with me until the very end, because what I explain today could be the difference between coming home safely and being stranded at the airport wondering what went wrong. Let me speak directly to your heart for a moment. I know what your green card means to you. It is not just a piece of plastic. It is the promise of a permanent home. It is the result of years of waiting, thousands of dollars in fees, and countless hours of paperwork. When you received your green card, you believed rightfully that you could live, work, and travel freely as a lawful permanent resident of the United States. And now, when you hear that DHS has confirmed green card reentry could be stopped, your first reaction is probably fear. Fear that you will be trapped outside the country. Fear that you will lose everything you have built. Fear that the rules have changed without warning. I understand that fear completely. I talk to people like you every single day. But today is not a day for panic. Today is a day for preparation because this rule change is coming. But if you understand it and follow the right steps, you can continue to travel and return home safely. As of date, the Department of Homeland Security has officially confirmed a new enforcement framework for green card holder re-entry that will take full effect in phases beginning in early 2026. This confirmation came through official DHS policy guidance released in coordination with U.S. Customs and Border Protection and has been widely reported by Reuters, the Associated Press, and the Wall Street Journal. The core of this change is a dramatic tightening of how CBP officers evaluate whether a green card holder has abandoned their permanent resident status based on travel patterns, time spent abroad, and evidence of ties to the United States. Under the current rules, which have been in place for decades, a green card holder who leaves the United States for less than 1 year is generally presumed to have maintained their permanent residence. Trips longer than 1 year require a re-entry permit, and trips longer than 2 years typically result in loss of status. While CBP officers have always had the authority to question travelers and challenge their intent, the enforcement has historically been somewhat flexible, especially for people who could explain extended absences due to family emergencies, work assignments, or other legitimate reasons. That flexibility is now ending. Under the new 2026 framework, CBP officers will apply a strict 180-day threshold for enhanced scrutiny. Any green card holder who has been outside the United States for more than 180 consecutive days, that is roughly 6 months, will automatically be flagged for secondary inspection upon arrival. During secondary inspection, the officer will review your complete travel history, examine evidence of your ties to the U.S., and make a determination on the spot about whether you have abandoned your permanent residence. If the officer determines that you have, you will be given a choice: voluntarily surrender your green card or be placed in removal proceedings before an immigration judge. But here is the part that is truly alarming for many green card holders. Even if you have been gone for less than 180 days, you can still be stopped and questioned if your cumulative travel pattern over the past 3 years shows that you have spent more time outside the U.S. than inside. The new system includes an automated tracking algorithm that calculates your total days abroad versus total days present in the United States. If your ratio falls below 50% presence in the U.S. over a rolling 36-month period, you will be flagged regardless of the length of your most recent trip. This is a complete game changer. Let me give you a concrete example to show exactly how this works. Imagine a green card holder named Maria, who lives in California, but frequently visits her elderly mother in the Philippines. Over the past 3 years, Maria has taken 8 trips, each lasting about 6 weeks, totaling approximately 336 days abroad. She has also spent all of her remaining time, about 760 days, in the United States. Under the old system, Maria would likely pass through customs without issue, because each individual trip was well under 1 year. Under the new 2026 framework, Maria's 69% presence ratio means she is above the threshold and should be fine. But imagine another green card holder named Carlos, who splits his time between New York and his business in Colombia. Over 3 years, Carlos has spent 600 days abroad and 496 days in the US. His presence ratio is only 45%. When Carlos tries to re-enter in 2026, he will be flagged, pulled into secondary, and could be asked to prove that he has not abandoned his permanent residence. If he cannot provide sufficient evidence, tax returns showing U.S. income, a U.S. address, utility bills, employment records, family ties, he could lose his green card on the spot. Now, I want to address some of the most common questions I have been receiving since this announcement was confirmed. The first question is, does this mean I cannot travel at all? The answer is no. You can absolutely still travel, but you must be strategic about how long you stay abroad and how you document your ties to the United States. The new rules do not prohibit travel. They punish travel patterns that suggest you are not actually living in America. The second question is, what if I have a legitimate reason to be abroad for a long time? The new rules do include provisions for documented emergencies, such as caring for a critically ill family member, but the burden of proof is entirely on you. You must have documentation, medical records, death certificates, legal documents, proving that your extended absence was unavoidable. Work assignments abroad are much more complicated. Unless your employer is a U.S. company and you have a formal assignment letter, extended work-related travel may not be sufficient justification. The third question is, what if I already have a re-entry permit? Re-entry permits remain valid and will still allow you to stay abroad for up to 2 years without automatically losing your status. However, and this is critical, the new rules add a layer of scrutiny even for re-entry permit holders. When you return, CBP officers will still evaluate whether you have maintained genuine ties to the U.S., and a re-entry permit alone will not guarantee entry if your overall pattern suggests abandonment. So, what should you do right now to protect yourself? Let me give you 5 concrete steps you can take today. First, calculate your travel ratio immediately. Gather your passport. Look at every entry and exit stamp for the past 3 years and add up your total days abroad versus days in the U.S. If your presence ratio is below 50%, you need to take action now. Consider staying in the U.S. for an extended period to rebuild your ratio before the new rules take full effect. Second, gather and organize documentation of your U.S. ties. This includes your most recent 3 years of U.S. tax returns. You should be filing taxes even if you earn income abroad. Your lease or mortgage documents, utility bills in your name, bank statements from U.S. accounts, employment records, health insurance cards, vehicle registration, and any evidence of family members living in the U.S. Keep copies of all of this in a folder that you carry with you every time you travel. Third, if you know you will need to be abroad for more than 6 months, apply for a re-entry permit now. The processing time for Form I-131 can take several months, and having an approved re-entry permit will give you an extra layer of protection under the new rules, even though it is not a guarantee. Fourth, if you are a frequent traveler with a borderline presence ratio, consider consulting with an immigration attorney before your next trip. An attorney can review your specific situation, help you document your ties, and advise you on whether you are at risk of an abandonment finding. Fifth, do not panic, But do not ignore this either. The worst thing you can do is assume that because you have had no problems in the past, you will have no problems in the future. The rules are changing. CBP officers will be applying stricter standards, and the consequences of being wrong are severe. Let me share another real-world example that illustrates exactly why preparation matters. I recently worked with a green card holder named Ahmed from Egypt. He has had his green card for 15 years and has always traveled freely between the US and Egypt to visit family. Over the past 3 years, Ahmed spent about 550 days abroad, mostly caring for his father, who passed away last year, and about 546 days in the US. His presence ratio was 49.8%, just barely under the 50% threshold. When Ahmed returned to the US last month, he was pulled into secondary inspection. The officer asked him a series of questions about his ties to the US, his employment, his address, and his reasons for being abroad. Because Ahmed had prepared, he had copies of his tax returns, his apartment lease, his father's medical records, and a letter from his employer. He was able to demonstrate that he had not abandoned his residence. He was allowed to enter, but he told me afterward that it was the most stressful 2 hours of his life, and he had never experienced anything like it in 15 years of travel. This is the new reality. I know this is a lot to absorb. I know it feels like the goalposts keep moving. But I want you to understand something important. You are not powerless. You have time to prepare. You have tools to protect yourself. And you have this channel, Policy and Pathways, to keep you informed every step of the way. As we come to the end of this video, I want to remind you of something I say often. Knowledge is protection. The fact that you are watching this video right now means you are already ahead of millions of green card holders who have no idea these changes are coming. You are taking responsibility for your future, and that is the most powerful thing you can do. If this video helped you understand the new green card re-entry rules taking effect in 2026, please like it, share it with every green card holder you know, and subscribe to Policy and Pathways with notifications turned on. I am monitoring this policy daily, and the moment there is any clarification, any court challenge, any new guidance, you will hear it here first. Before I go, my standard disclaimer. Everything I have shared today is for general formational purposes only. It is not legal advice. Immigration rules are complex and change frequently. Your individual situation may have unique factors that require professional guidance. Please consult with a qualified immigration attorney for advice specific to your case. Always verify information with official government sources, including the DHS and CBP websites. Policy can change, and the information I provided is accurate as of date. Thank you for trusting me with your time and your future. You have worked too hard for your green card to lose it because of a rule change you did not know about. Together, we will make sure that does not happen. My name is James, and this is Policy and Pathways. Stay safe, stay informed, and I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourself and take care of each